Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have finally my little Colourpop review of the new, not new, but of the Yes Please Cute AF palette. I mean, the name is Yes Please, but they have Cute AF on the front. So, I mean, I don't know. I've had this palette now for quite a bit of time, and I've used it a lot in the past couple of weeks, and I've done a bunch of different looks, so I have tested just about every color. The only color that I haven't tried is the color Note to Self, and my palette is really beat up already. I should clean it, but don't judge me. So the only color I actually haven't used right now is, well, as of right now, is this color right here, and that's Note to Self. So if you're interested in my thoughts, then just keep on watching. So let me just do this and get it out of the way before I forget. So in terms of all the shipping deets, let me pull it up real quick. So I placed my order for this little guy and a bunch of lippies and stuff like that on November 15th. Then on November 16th, I got my shipping confirmation. And then by November 18th, I think, yeah, by November 18th, like in the evening time, I got my entire order, this guy and all of the liquid lipsticks, lip liners and stuff like that I ordered. So very, very content overall with the speed of the shipping, and then everything arrived perfectly fine. I was surprised though that they've stopped, unless you get like, I guess you place like a super large order, depending on the size of the products and whatever, et cetera, that you pick up, then they'll put it in a box. But this time around, my last couple orders that I did with Colourpop, they just sent it in like those envelopes or shipping envelopes. Needless to say, everything arrived fine, so nothing was broken. I mean, I think it's because I ordered so many liquid lipsticks that they didn't bother putting it in a box, because this was the only like eyeshadow, more fragile object, I guess. But this was bubble wrapped and nothing came scratched or broken. Shadows were fine, everything was intact. I don't know, just thought I should mention that. This palette has 8 matte shadows and 4 shimmer shadows, so you get a nice variety in here. I'm a fan of the fact that there are more mattes than there are shimmers, because then I can do a lot more looks. There's a lot more playroom, wiggle room for me personally. But I was immediately attracted to this palette, obviously, because of, oh my gosh, like the warm tones in here. Oh my gosh, I love it. I gravitated towards it naturally. I was really excited about this yellow shade here in the corner. This is Mischief, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Colourpop, like the way they label the back for the names, it can be a little bit confusing. So to my understanding, unless they've changed it, the names on the back correspond with the shadows, but it's going to be in the exact same order that you see the shadows. So it's not going to be like, oh, this one right here is going to be the name that matches like right back here, like that. No. So this is the first shadow, meaning the first shadow here on the back is going to be that. So full zip is this color, and then like, for example, second row, second shadow over this shimmer is going to be Butter Cake. But if you were to look at it and assume like, oh, so this shadow is going to correspond with the thing right behind it, the name right behind it, you would think that this was Spoiled, but it's not. It's Butter Cake. Does that make sense? I hope so. After having had the palette for a little bit of time now and having enough time to play with it and test out all the different colors except for that one, I really like it. I'm pretty content with my purchase. I will say, not every shadow in here has equal amount of pigment. And then consistency of the matte shadows is not the same for every shade. So the color that I was most excited about was Mischief. That's this yellow shade right here. I know it might be kind of hard to see in the lighting. It's this really pretty yellow shadow. I thought it was going to be super gorgeous on the lid. It was going to be really packed with pigment. But on my skin tone, it does not show up that bright or that pigmented. I think maybe if you were fairer, this color would probably show up better, but on my skin, it it's meh, but I still use it a lot. I like just have to go in multiple times over and over and over and over and over to kind of try to build up any sort of color. But yeah, like it's overall a little bit disappointing. But I think the only way to make it work on my skin tone would probably be to lay down a paint pot or like concealer or something lighter, so then the color can then show through. If you're darker than me, you definitely like, you're not gonna see this color on your skin, most likely, unless you put a base down before. So that's that. So the shimmers in this palette are not at all the same as the Colourpop Super Shock Shadow Shimmery colors, whatever. Don't expect the same consistency and don't necessarily expect the same color payoff. These are their pressed powder shadows, so the formulation is not going to be the same as the regular like individual Super Shock shadows. So just get that thought out of your mind, girl. So I think if you want the most impact from these shimmery shadows, you're going to have to wet your brush. You're gonna just have to wet your brush, spray it with some setting spray, Fix Plus, whatever you have, and then you can really see like some high shine and some magic happening on the lid, I guess. I personally don't really care to wet my brush if I can just use my finger or a makeup brush that I have, a shadow brush, and then just kind of pack it on. If like, I would only use a setting spray for a shimmery shadow if that just like that shadow was just not working at all, like she needs the most help possible. If it's just a regular shimmer, like nothing too crazy, Fix Plus helps the situation, I don't even bother. Like my finger is fine, a brush is fine for me personally. They do have quite a bit of fallout, not crazy fallout, but be careful in how you apply it, because you can get quite a bit of fallout on your like lower lash line or your like face or whatever. So if you do your foundation or whatever it is beforehand, just be mindful of that. You might want to lay some setting powder, baking powder, whatever you want to call it, translucent, loose powder, and like just to help catch all that fallout, so it's easier to just kind of clean up afterwards. But overall, I am pretty content with the shimmers. The shade GNO, this one right here on the corner, this guy right here, in terms of the actual texture and consistency of the shadow, it's super powdery. Like swatching your finger in there or just putting a brush in there, it will give you a ton of kick up. So just be careful with that. The pigment in there is really great, but the problem is because of the consistency of the shadow, if you go on with a brush, you're gonna get a ton of pigment on that brush. And then the second you lay that onto your eye, you're gonna get a chunk of color and a chunk of product settled into wherever your brush first touched. So it can be a little bit difficult to blend out. So just be mindful that you wanna go in with a lighter hand. Do not be heavy-handed with these matte, like richer shades. So these three right here, 1, 2, 3, what are their names? Let's see. Spoiled, GNO, and French Kiss. Oh my gosh, I keep taking it to the shadow. I have to be careful. Nails, they're a problem. Spoiled is not too bad. Like it's pressed pretty well, so you don't get a ton of kick up, but 100% GNO and French Kiss right here give you the worst fallout and kickback and everything. So yeah, just be mindful of that. I will say this other shade here, Big Cocktails, is a really pretty color, but it, again, that's another one that I have to be a little bit more heavy-handed with just because of my skin tone. It can be a little bit tricky to show up, so I do have to go in quite a few times, pack on that color and blend it out. But again, that's something like a light colored base, concealer, paint pot, something like that could probably easily fix. I think out of all the mattes, surprisingly, even though like I have the colors that I keep going to, I'm very impressed with Full Zip, and that is this matte shadow right here. For me, it's just a nice highlight shade, but depending on your skin tone, this could be a really good shade for all over the lid to kind of give you like a blank canvas, so you can then go in with other colors, whatever. But I'm very impressed with this shade just because you never really like think about your highlighting shades in a palette. It's just kind of like an afterthought. They never really stick out to you because it's just like, oh, you just put it on the lid, whatever, put it on your brow bone. But the pigmentation in this shadow is incredible, and it is so good to just kind of clean up under the brow with, just highlight a little bit. I think if you were to do a fully matte eye, this shadow in your inner corner to give like a little highlight without putting a shimmer in there would be really gorgeous. It shows up so beautifully on my skin. So if you're my shade, maybe a little bit darker, I think you're in the clear. If you are much deeper in complexion, this may look a little bit ashy. So you just want to like play around with your colors, but it's not a stark bone shade. It seems to have some sort of like, I don't know that I want to say pink, but it does have some kind of like undertone to it where it's not this stark white, it's not a bone. It's just a very nice, not flesh tone, but I don't know, like very muted flesh tone color. I don't know. I'm not very good with describing colors, but I'm a really big fan of that. That color really impressed me the most. I'm also super huge fan of Louis. Yeah, Louis, I guess is the name. That's this shimmer shadow right here. It is super pretty pink, nice reflective quality when it's on the lid. It's just, I don't know, it's just gorgeous. I have that on my eyes right now. Actually, yeah, let's just jump into what's on my eyes right now. So the first color that I went in with is the yellow shade Mischief. And as you guys can see, like I had to build this up like crazy. She is just not that pigmented on my skin tone, so I really had to work that in. I put that all throughout the crease. I wasn't scared. I went all the way into the inner corners of my eye, just kind of like blend that out, you know. So I went pretty much crazy with this color. And then when I was finally kind of content with the amount that I had put on the lid, I then went in with Big Cocktails, and initially I wasn't gonna do a halo eye, but it turned into kind of a little bit of a halo eye. So I went in with that color and I started in the outer corner, and then I kind of worked it into the crease a little bit, and then I just put it in the outer and the inner corner because I eventually decided, a halo eye sounds pretty good right now. So that's what I did there. And then I took Spoiled, and then I started to kind of build up on the color and really kind of carve out my halo look, I guess, so to speak. So I really packed that on the outer corner and then the inner corner, but I packed on the color first and then went in and blended it more. So that's another thing with these shadows. With these like richer colors, you want to pack the color on first and then kind of go into blend, just so you're not having like a messy, sloppy, powdery situation happening. So after that, I went in with a smaller brush, and then I took the color French Kiss, and I really carefully placed that on the outer corners, laid it down first, very little at a time, and then afterwards went in and blended out on the outer and the inner corners to give them more halo effect. So that's that. Blended it out, really like the look of it. And then on the center of the lid, I first went in with Butter Cake, and then I was like, oh wow, that's really gold. So to kind of tone it down a little bit, and then I just, because I love the color, I took Louis and I put that on over top. So that's kind of the little center part, my little shimmer and the halo. In my inner corner, I only took Louis and just put it in the inner corner. I'm like, I don't need all that gold in my inner corner, it's fine. So on the lower lash line now, I pretty much took all the colors that I used on my lid and just put on the lower lash line. So first was Mischief, and then we go in with Big Cocktails, and then I kind of tried to mimic the halo effect from my lid on my lower lash line. So I kind of tried my best when I went in with Spoiled and French Kiss to concentrate the color on the outer and inner corner of my lower lash line, not kind of pretty much avoiding the center of the lower lash line, because I then went in with the shimmers again, Butter Cake and Louis, mixed the two of them and then just popped them right on there. So that's basically the entire eye look. Afterwards, I just went in with my gel eyeliner and did a really little tiny wing and my mascara and called it a day, and then my whole face. If you guys are interested in like all the products on my face right now, you have a question about something specific, I will have a little blog post linked down below where I'll have a full on detailed list of every product on my face. So check that out if you're interested in something specific. I think for the price point, this is a pretty good deal. You get 12 shadows in here. I believe before tax, before shipping, anything like that, it's $16 on the website, and it was $12 when they did Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Cyber Monday sales and all that stuff, so that's a pretty good steal if you manage to get your hands on it. Then I'm pretty content, honestly, with the color payoff and all of that. Even though there are some shadows that I have a little bit of a harder time working with, just because of the fact that I have melanin and not everything will show up on me like it would on somebody super fair. I mean, I can still make it work, you know, like you can still make it work. Get a lighter base, put that all over the eye, and you're good to go. It should show up. The shadows blend pretty nicely, even though, like I said, they are those shades that, because of the texture and because of the pigmentation, you want to be careful, lay it on, and then blend it out, and then don't be too heavy-handed, and then you should be fine. So yeah, I mean, for the cost, you get what you pay for, but I think overall, like, this is a pretty good deal. Love the colors, really huge fan. So yeah, I think this could be a really cute gift for somebody or for yourself, or whatever you want to do, girl. And if you guys are interested, randomly, if you guys are interested in swatches of the entire palette, I do have that linked down below as well. It was an entire little blog post on its own, so I'll have that in the description bar down below if you guys want to see that. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and it was somewhat helpful. Don't forget to check out the description bar down below for any little questions you may have. The answer might be there. And I hope you check out my previous videos, check out my blog, my social media, whatever you want to do, girl. It's up to you. I'm not forcing you to do anything you don't want to do. Unless you want to do it, then go ahead. And I will see you guys in my next video. Besitos.